What's up guys, this is Marvin. Welcome to another episode of Flex, Rocks and Rollovers. We're back here at Georgia JeepTech, just north of Atlanta, and I'm showing you today a completely bad to the bone JK. This thing is an absolute monster. It started off as a 2017 JKU Rubicon coming straight from the dealership, and JeepTech took it over, and after a year of work they finally finished it, and I'm telling you guys, this thing is off the hook. Today I'm here with Eric, the proud owner of this beast.
Eric Poole, I live in Buford, Georgia. Bought the Jeep back in 2017. Had a 4-inch Mopar lift on it. Looked great at the dealership. Didn't really know much about Jeeps at the time, was new to the Jeep scene. So it looked nice, but it drove really bad. Ended up coming up here to JeepTech, talking to Mike and John for about 2.5 hours the first time that I found their shop. And we started talking about suspension, LS motor, just a whole build from start to finish. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of hours putting this stuff together.
I'm Mike with JeepTech. I run the shop. Anytime you call up, I'm going to be the one that helps you out. Eric stopped by. We went over a couple of very basic options. We get a lot of people that come through the shop that want to know what the ultimate stuff is. Not everybody ends up going to that degree. So we put a basic build plan together for him, and the week that he dropped it off to have us start the work, I was so proud of the fact that we had all of these Jeeps in the parking lot with similar setups. I said to him, that's got what you're getting and that's got what you're getting, and he said, I don't want that. I want something unique. I want something that no one else has. John, the owner of the shop, had just got back from GenRight and said, why don't we do a GenRight Elite suspension on this thing? And from there, it just snowballed into this magnificent piece that you see. As I mentioned, we wanted everything super unique. We try to touch every piece on this, starting from front bumper. It's a Metalcloak bumper that we shortened up for the 40-inch tires. Added some rigid lighting, worn winches, integrated tabs. We made the hoop so that the light bar sat snug in the bumper. Factor 55. Metalcloak 2-piece fender flares. That's both powder coated and painted. So you've got your inner that's paint matched to the body, and then a powder coated exterior for durability. Some 40-inch Mickey Thompsons on some custom 20-inch Raceline beadlock wheels. Coming on back, we've got the Rock Slide Engineering steps. As a daily driver, you still need it to be super functional. These steps are a true rock slider that you can take off-road to protect the rockers of the Jeep while still having a phenomenal step that functions perfectly every time. Rear fenders have the included armor built into them, so we color matched that so it didn't look like a black Jeep with some gray accents. We retained the factory granite crystal gray, also two-tone paint on the top surface and powder coat on the edges. We did a Poison Spider rear bumper with integrated rigid lights that matches perfectly with the GenRight 36-gallon tank that's designed for the suspension system. If you bring the camera to the side here and look at your departure angle, you've got a perfect departure angle from the bumper all the way down the skid, so that you're never going to high side this rear bumper when you're off-road. We wanted a nice clear rear end, so we took the spare tire off, paint matched the spare tire delete kit. We've got some JW speaker LED tail lights. If we look in the back here, because of the GenRight Elite, you've got towers that go into the inside. So we made a custom box with the best sound system in the industry, Alpine. We've got the i209 system up front, and then integrated 10-inch subs in the back.
It's super cool. And what kind of soft top is this?
This is the best top, the best top super top. It's the factory replacement top. This Jeep actually came with a color matched hard top. And for the summer, for ease, we just added this best top super top.
Awesome.
We haven't started maybe stage 2 yet, where we'll possibly do Mopar half doors and possibly a cage down the road.
Yeah, Mopar half doors is the way to go, man.
Yeah, no
like
doubt.
that changes the Jeep dramatically, and it just, yeah, it's just a way different driving feel. Very, very cool. Awesome. So that was the exterior of this wonderful JKU. Now we're going one step further and talk about the heart of this, the power plant. We have a really big 8-cylinder engine in this thing, brand spanking new, but I'm gonna let Eric talk more about that.
So it has a RPM Extreme LS3 crate motor in it, and RPM puts together the software that allows the Mopar computer to communicate with the LS Chevy computer.
Okay.
And so it integrates together and everything works, all the gauges work, your cruise control works. It's really a nice kit that they put together.
Let's see it.
So with this LS3 and pushing 40-inch tires, we wanted to use a PSC kit. Because of the LS3, we had to custom make the reservoir to be able to have the volume that the PSC kit needed. So our friends down at Origin Fab did a custom one-off reservoir for us.
So is there anything done to the motor?
Yeah, so the motor has a ASA off-road high-performance cam in it. Should be pushing around 525 horsepower.
Wow, that's crazy. Have you dynoed it yet? No, right?
We haven't dynoed it. We had it tuned, and but we haven't put on a dyno. I think we probably have to take the tires off and put smaller tires to fit it on the dyno.
Probably.
Our friends at Vengeance Racing, who specialize in LS tuning, Ron and Mike did a phenomenal job of smoothing out the power band on this and really making it sound good and scoot down the road.
That is really awesome. So, do you guys have to do anything to make this fit, or does it just, like, what do you have to do to make a LS fit as flawlessly as this one does into a JKU?
So
as you can see, guys, this is, it almost looks like OEM. I mean, you don't see anything that gives you a hint that this motor didn't come with this Jeep. I mean, absolutely perfect install.
So John Schaefer at RPM Extreme designed this kit to be as simple as possible. As Eric mentioned, the CAN bus system integrates all of the Mopar electronics to the LS PCM, and you have to cut off the factory motor mounts, weld on new factory motor mounts, weld on new LS motor mounts, and it relocates the motor as low center of gravity and as close to the firewall as possible.
And then I'm assuming exhaust, etc., everything that comes to it is custom, or?
Yes, John did a full custom true dual exhaust straight from the headers back that run down the frame. Unfortunately, we can't see it today because of the skid that comes in the GenRight Elite, but it does have ceramic coated true dual exhaust that runs right down the center of the frame.
All right, and now the big question, what everybody's probably asking themselves, what does it sound like? Let's hear it. Let's start it up, guys. Do you hear this nasty chopping? This thing is rowdy. Rowdy, rowdy, rowdy. Chop, 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 chop. Alright guys, so much to the engine. Next on, suspension, axles, transmission, transfer case, steering, and all those goodies. So we're gonna put it up on the CTI ramp, see what this thing looks like from underneath.
So we're at 38 inches.
38. It's about right. Awesome. All right, so let's talk suspension. What does this baby got?
So this is the GenRight Elite for the JKU.
GenRight Elite means what? What does that mean? What does that mean in terms of parts? And
So GenRight designed a system to work within the constraints of the frame as best as they possibly could. They eliminated the factory skid and did a completely flat belly skid. It's a true 4-link rear. It relocates the gas tank that usually runs down the passenger side to the back. It has a special cutout for the pumpkin on the custom RockJock 70 that's under it. It's a RockJock 60 front. Our guys at Curry design a phenomenal axle, bulletproof, phenomenal steering. The PSC is integrated into the front axle, so turning is a breeze. We've got Fox 2.5 coils along with the Pack Racing springs. The guys at Pack Racing also do a phenomenal job every time we call them. We tell them what we need and they get it out next day for us.
and AccuTune, what is I see AccuTune is on there.
AccuTune is a company that we buy our coilovers from. They valve the shocks specifically for our application. So we corner weight the vehicle, send them the measurements of the weight, and they valve the internals specifically for the Jeep and for the weight.
Do you hear that, guys? That's how you tune a set of coilovers. It's not just plug and play. A stock setup to coilover straight out of the box does not work. Might as well stick to your leaf springs. This is how you do it. Very nice. So yeah, tell us more about it.
So with the GenRight Elite, you have to weld in new cross members into the frame. So you cut out all of the old cross members, including transmission, the rear cross member, and weld in all new stuff. John, the owner of JeepTech, he took it upon himself to spend every single minute necessary to make this build unbelievable, even down to smoothing out the factory welds on the frame, and then we repowder coated the frame to match the body color, the granite crystal. We did it with a clear matte over it to give it a little bit of contrast, but the fact that it's a powder coated frame really takes it one step above.
Ceramic coated too, right?
It's ceramic coated as well, yes.
Awesome. And I see bump stops, Fox bump stops?
Yep, Fox bump stops to match, so that as the axle travels up, it doesn't bottom out on anything. It's kind of the first impact that it takes so that it protects all of the other components. This suspension system is truly designed to be able to run down the highway at 90 miles an hour, pull off the road, do some off-roading, do some whoops, get back on the road and drive home for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it looks absolutely stunning. So let's start here in the front. What we got here, PSC Hydro Assist steering?
Yep, PSC Hydro Assist. We had to do a custom reservoir inside the engine bay for the LS3. The guys at PSC always deliver with top-notch products. John built steering with the RockJock knuckles. So we've got offset heims, also powder coated to match the frame color. The axles were completely disassembled and powder coated as well. Oftentimes people will just paint the axles. All of the welding and smoothing was done before. Disassembled the axle, sent it off to powder, and then reassembled it for that ultimate touch. So the Curry axles have 538 gears with Eaton E-lockers. Connected to our Switch Pro setup inside. Switch Pro is also a fantastic company. It allows us to run multiple accessories to one central command system, and then we've got 8 switches inside to make it super clean and simple.
Okay.
So GenRight offers multiple sizes. We went with a 36-gallon gas tank that, if you look in the center, it's actually got a cutout for the pumpkin, so the pumpkin can travel all the way to the bottom of the body on the inside for maximum clearance. GenRight has a sway bar in the rear, no sway bar up front for clearances.
What kind of shocks are, no, they're Fox shocks in the back as well?
Fox,
how long?
These are 14-inch coilovers in the rear and 12-inch coilovers up front. And we've maximized every inch of that coilover. All
right, and drive shaft, transfer case, transmission, what do you got there?
So when you do an LS swap, you have to convert back to NP 231. So we remove the Rubicon transfer case and do a 231, which actually lands up with a lower gear ratio because of the 6L80 transmission that's bolted to the LS. On this axle, it doesn't allow for a factory handbrake. So we developed a pinion brake that's at the back of the transfer case that still functions like a factory emergency brake would with the handle, but it's actually got a separate brake caliper on the pinion, which works phenomenally well.
Awesome, and I see a fresh set of brakes poking through there too.
Yep.
What we got there?
We've got R1 concept brakes, which we made custom brackets for to fit the that are mated to the Curry hubs. We made custom brackets to make them clearance to fit properly.
Alright guys, so now you know all the bells and whistles about this beautiful machine behind me, the Elite JK build here by JeepTech. Now that you know all the bells and whistles about it, we're gonna take it off-road. That's right, for its very first time. It's never been off the pavement, it's never been off-road, so we're gonna take it up to Black Moose, our local wheeling spot, to see what this baby can do in the rocks. So stay tuned for that in episode 2. Like the video, subscribe to it, comment, buy our merchandise, be awesome. Thank you very much for your support. Flex, rocks, and rollovers, baby. See you later.